clear on is how we're going to go about this, and then we can discuss what goes in. So I'm still not clear about the process we're going to use and the timeline.
Well, one of the ideas, well, the only idea put on the table on it is, well, we have a book which is traditionally linear.
Yeah.
And of course we don't want a linear book.
Why?
Why? Because we want to be more creative, I think. Is that not enough way? And also we want to sort of represent the non-linear nature of the real medium that we work in, which is the internet and connected communications and all that sort of stuff. But so one of the proposals, and maybe that's not why we did it, but one of the proposals was that we develop some themes, emergent themes, align them to times in the tour that we've done. And the reason we want to align it to the time in the tour is because with the timeline, that gives us an opportunity to introduce local participation that we've had. So we met John Earls today, and he does this, and we met Stanley Freelick, and his crew does this, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, we've met a lot of people on the way, and we could introduce them in the themes, but I think we'd miss out on the documentation of what we just went through, you know, the timeline that we went through. And
we've done all that work already, you know. So
yeah, that work has already been done. I don't know if that's a good way to go about it or not. That's the only idea on the table at the moment.
I mean, two things spring to mind is that we've got an awful lot of video and audio, and we also have an awful lot of relationships with people now, and by holding back from that we can open up what we've collated to response from those people. You know, for example, Stanley, it would be great to get his perception of the outcomes, the success of the conference. Even like Andrew Higgins, you know, who informed me that he made the decision to fund the actual event, get his perspective. And that would be opening up to the network, and that would be, you know, great value to get, you know, feedback from people based on what we've just done in the past week.
I have a question. In the linear way of how the conference went, does that mean that people who came to the Dunedin part will contribute to the Christchurch part, to themes that emerge later, or would they only contribute to their bit? And I'd also like to hear what Barbara thinks at some point.
Well, I would like to have, I think everybody's bringing in the themes that emerge, and you have already a set of themes.
A beginning, yeah.
A beginning. I think we could have a look at what people can do and can write about and link to it, perhaps. I don't know. I asked this morning if it was going to be, was it you who I asked, whether it was going to be in paper or digital form? No? No, it was you.
Okay.
You. Paper. So you cannot interlink.
Oh well, unless we can do that for the print, and there are ways we could hyperlink with signals in the print. A word can have a little symbol next to it, and indicating that it's, you know, like footnotes are a kind of hyperlink in a way.
That brings up a point for me, rather than embedding, as you were saying, that your predominant management context is that they won't click on links to visit that. So rather than links out to, as you were saying this morning, well, I'm the same. I'll say that my management don't click on links very easily either. Maybe we need to click on key tag terms or words that are defining from our feeds rather than sites.
I don't know why we shouldn't make a linear book. I like good stories. If we can build up a good story out of this with the beginning and the middle and the ending. We have enough hypermedia in the web. We can have the videos and the other media in a DVD or CD.
Okay,
let's make the book a linear story, a good story.
Fair enough.
We can find out also certain roles for people.
I want to be the villain.
The bad guy, the good good cop,
The
the
lone
bad
gun.
cop.
No, I think
Good
because
call.
it's a different medium. So if you have a
one
paper,
thing-
it's one thing, and you have the internet, that's another.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I say that if you have a book, it's one kind of way of presenting things, I think. And if you're on the internet, it's another way of presenting things. So
Yep.
I think.
I think that's fair enough.
One thing I feel strongly about is that this book should not be for our masters at home to prove that we've done something worthwhile. I think the audience for this book has to be all of us, like including other participants.
Including the participants, that's what I like. It's by including the participants, and they have ownership of the actual final product. And
So we're not writing it
Yeah.
for our masters, we're writing it for ourselves.
Well, I'm writing it for my mum.
Well,
fair enough.
yeah, I'm self-selected. I came here for a reason other than, you know, I've put myself in a position possibly to lose my management position. I know that
You have a management
interview is being
position.
advertised right at this very moment. But I made a selection. I made a choice to be here to connect with what I believe in is a very valuable part of my process of growing as well. So much like when we turned up in Tolo 2005, for me it was very much about disappearing on that trek or that walk that we did down into the bush, and then suddenly we had a very similar situation to what we're in here at the moment.
That's last year when we went to the bush
That's right, yeah. I think it's important.
with Don Perrin.
With Don, yeah. I think it's
I
important
haven't got an email from him yet.
But what are you saying about, I'm asking a question, what are you saying about the management, the audience stuff?
I'm not, as you're saying, I'm not writing it. Well, I'm not contributing or participating because that I have an audience, as we were saying
Right,
earlier
so you're
today.
opening.
Yeah, I'm open-ended as to what I'd rather it goes forward rather
Yeah,
than
yeah,
reflecting on what
yeah,
that's about.
yeah, good. I have nothing else to really add. Steve, are you?
Well, one of the best things that, for me has been that email that Stanley Felix sent to us, like, it's describing how successful the actual unconference format was, how something so disorganized could be so productive. How many other people got really wonderful experiences from the format and what was discussed. That's what I'd like to capture.
It just reminded me of something. This LearnScope retrospective that we're doing is going to be based on case studies that follow a storytelling template. And I'm just wondering if we need to also introduce something like that where participants can either tell a story of how they experienced the conference or of their own networked learning stuff, where we have it kind of, and the template is really simple. It's context. What was what was the task, what action took place, and what was the result. So the storytelling is like the oldest narrative of all. So we might even be able to encourage people to contribute in that way, and then have sort of other stuff weaving through, and that would then, I think, appeal to all. You?
Yeah, well, like about the audience, everybody loves good stories.
Absolutely, yeah.
It doesn't really matter who is the audience if it's a good enough story.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think we can make it up to. We have enough documentary material, and then we can, out of that material, come up a real story.
Regarding the template idea, I think if we just spent the next 4 days getting what we think down, then that's enough of an example to insinuate a template without actually giving somebody a format to use.
What we're doing with the LearnScope thing is we're coming up with a document that's going to have historical stuff, contextual stuff, all that sort of stuff. The case studies is a section of that. So, and in that we're just giving people a form to write to and preferably to speak to so that we don't lose that oral tradition. And that just then means that we collect those stories and put them in, and we might even have just, like in that email, what made me think of that was that might just be a caption that comes out. So it's similar to the Northland stuff. That would assume a shape that I would really like, where we've got a bit of everything, including participants, contributing.
Well, I agree, but I understand that that's the way the LearnScope project's doing it, using templates or forms.
Oh,
But I
that's a
think,
suggestion,
yeah, but I think our group here have enough in the next 4 days where we could model
Yes.
what we're looking for, and leave it up to people to, if they want to break that model, that's fine too.
So I'm leaving on Tuesday, so I'll, if we get whatever space that we're going to be working with then sorted out, then I can track what you guys do from then on and
I'll
hopefully
catch up on
participate.
your email.
Yep. all of that.
See, now the thing about the time thing is that Stanley and Derek in Christchurch and our colleagues in Polytech, you know, when I left them, I asked, can you write a reflection on everything as soon as you can, so we can get that and bounce it off and stuff like that. And they said, yeah, I'll do that. But I also know that they're extremely busy, and what we've got, although it's very helpful, it's 2 paragraphs. We need more than 2 paragraphs.